The undead pour from a flying citadel, raining down plague and raising the dead to serve their armies. And playing card games, of course. Curse of Naxxramas was the first adventure for Hearthstone, providing players with a series of challenges they could complete to win new cards for their decks. But each of these bosses corresponds to a boss in the Naxxramas raid in World of Warcraft, and there's a great history behind them. Firstly, it's important to note that Naxxramas is a structure called a necropolis. It's based off the central base used for the undead faction in Warcraft 3. It's actually originally a Nerubian structure, but since the Lich King slew them all and raised them into his army, they started building things for the Scourge instead. Now, Naxxramas arrived in patch 1.11 in June 2006. It was the final 40-man raid instance of classic World of Warcraft, and its final boss was Kel'thuzad, a famous necromancer and lich from Warcraft 3. The Argent Dawn was created as an organization of paladins and other undead slayers whose goal was to fight off the undead invasion that it brought along with them. Its original entrance was supposed to be at the back of Stratholme, like Molten Core with Blackrock Depths, but that was changed to make an attunement quest and a teleporter. Now, once inside, players can choose from one of 4 wings to start with. Defeating all 4 unlocks the final 2 bosses. The Hearthstone adventure mirrors this, albeit in a more linear fashion. The Plague Quarter contains Noth the Plaguebringer, Hygen the Unclean, and a fungal creature known as Lotheb. The Construct Quarter contains Patchwork, Grobulus, Gluth, and Thaddeus, all horrible stitched-together monstrosities. The Arachnid Quarter contains Anubricon, Grand Widow Fairlina, and the giant spider Myexna. I left the Military Quarter for last, as it has 2 versions. Both versions contain the bosses Instructor Vesuvius, Gothic the Harvester, and the 4 Horsemen, but the 4 Horsemen are changed in between the original and the Wrath of the Lich King version of the raid. The original 4 Horsemen contained a Death Knight by the name of Alexandros Mograine. He held a sword known as the Ashbringer, familiar to Ret Paladins in the Legion expansion, and anyone who has played the Death Knight starting zone. His corrupted sword was a rare drop, no longer obtainable by players. In lore, however, the Ashbringer comic shows his son Darian Mograine sacrificing himself during the assault on Naxxramas to save his father's soul, but he was forced to take his place instead. Darian was later freed from this fate when the Death Knights broke free of the Scourge at the Battle for Light's Hope and became the leader of the Death Knights for a while. Alexandros was replaced by Baron Rivendare in the Northrend version, who was originally the final boss of Stratholme. Stratholme was then placed under the control of Rivendare's son, a corrupted paladin. Oh, how family binds us all together in death. The final wing contains Sapphiron, an undead blue dragon, and Kel'thuzad himself. A little bit on him. He was once one of the highest-ranking members of the Kirin Tor in Dalaran, one of the Council of 6, but he heard the call of the Lich King and abandoned his work to travel to Northrend, learning to become a necromancer and raise the dead. He would go on to found the Cult of the Damned, a group of living beings who sought immortality through undeath. They served him and brought the plague of undeath to Lordaeron. He was opposed and later killed by the paladin Prince Arthas. But when Prince Arthas was corrupted by the Lich King, Kel'thuzad was resurrected as a powerful lich by invading Kel'thuzad's former home of Dalaran and acquiring the power they needed. In the process, Arthas killed Kel'thuzad's former council member, Antonidas. Kel'thuzad didn't care. The Lich would help Arthas achieve his goal in taking over Lordaeron, and was left in charge with it along with Naxxramas. After his defeat in the original version of the raid, his phylactery was stolen. A phylactery is an artifact in which a lich holds its soul. So long as it remains intact, the lich can continue to resurrect over and over again. The phylactery was stolen by a priest of the Argent Dawn, and in return, that priest was turned into a lich. This led to Kel'thuzad and Naxxramas' return in Wrath of the Lich King. How the rest of the bosses survived, I have no idea, but it's a video game. Come on, let's be reasonable here. Once again, Naxxramas was defeated along with Kel'thuzad. His phylactery was not found this time, leaving his current status unknown. Could he be out there, lurking and waiting for a chance to rise again? Or maybe he's here, playing card games. Who knows? The mystery continues. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, and take care, everybody.